other countries? Because how are we still talking about Tyla's race in 2020?
Young man. Yeah. You and everybody over there in South Africa, I need y'all to come to the front of the line. Because I'm not finna yell. I'm not finna go on no tangent. I don't do none of that. I'm too cool for that. But I am about to educate y'all right quick. Alright? Listen. Now, me, I can't speak for everybody else. I can only speak for me. I know that the term colored over there in the southern region of the motherland is acceptable. All right. I tend to do my research on other cultures a lot. As I do plan on traveling this world at some point. And South Africa, believe it or not, is one of my destinations to visit. So I do my research. That way I'm not going into a foreign land, pissing people off, not being familiar with their customs. Okay? I understand that the term colored over there is a legitimate, classifiable race identification. Okay? I get that. All right? Now, this is your turn to, and listen, okay? I'm about to break it down for you to what that term means in these United States, in this corner of the hemisphere. Here in America, the term colored has a lot of racial connotations to it, okay? That term is a very Jim Crow, post-slavery, post-Reconstruction era, Jim Crow era term. What does all that mean in America? It means racism. Bottom line, bro. Bottom line. Bottom line. I'm not
Y'all see the tears in his eyes?
okay with being labeled colored. Ask Joey Swole. We, Black Americans in these United States, are not comfortable with that term. All right? It was used during the time of segregation to keep black people and white people separated. Google is y'all friend over there, man. Matter of fact, Google is a friend globally. This is simple. All right? Now, somewhere between the let's just say the 1880s and parts of the 1960s, right? Black people and white people couldn't sit in the same fucking vicinity and breathe air together. Okay? We couldn't do shit together. You even had fucking segregated water fountains, my boy. You had one for the colored folk. You had one for the white folk. It's reasons why that word, along with a lot of racial slurs, that goes beyond just ethnicity. It's a reason why that shit is offensive. And I'm going to speak about Tyla just for a second, because never really was a fan of her fucking music. Matter of fact, I was more excited about Kevin Gates dropping on my birthday yesterday, by the way, Luca Brasi 4 than I was to hear anything from Little Rihanna or whoever the fuck she is. More interested in Kevin Gates than Tyla. All right? Tyla committed career schmooshmide in these United States. by one using that term, identifying herself as colored in the United States, and then by doubling down on it. Y'all, my South African homies, my brothers across the diaspora, go back and watch that fucking Charlemagne interview, man. If you can get me to agree with anything Charlemagne the God said, then you either A, had to do something really right, or B, really wrong. Because when it comes to journalism and media, he and I don't have the same philosophy, but we can agree on one thing. We're going to give you the opportunity to clarify the air. Tyla did exactly, and this is what did it for us. Because by all rights, Charlemagne did what Charlemagne don't usually do. Gave her an alley-oop, threw a softball, a soft question.
It
The
was.
opportunity presented itself for Tyla to clarify what she meant. Okay? What did little Miss Thing do? She looks to her left, to her team. They declined to answer anything that had to do with that. That was the perfect time for little Miss Thing, make me sway, make me holler, Miss Her, to educate us, the Black Americans, okay, about what race is to her and the meaning behind the term. Is giving Hulk Hogan in this situation. You had the opportunity to make amends, and you chose not to. You chose to alienate. Barely $4,000. Shame make no fucking money. Barely 4,000 copies over here stateside because you pissed off black people. Do y'all not know African Americans was the reason why a lot of businesses are still afloat? Do y'all know that we're the reasons? Do you not know that we're the reason why a lot of this music shit exists? Do you know we're the reason why a lot of this Hollywood shit exists? Matter of fact, I'm going to give you even fun fact. I'm going to give you a little bit of history. Back in the 1930s, here stateside, Cadillac. Yeah, the little Escalades, the Coupe de Villes y'all be seeing. Yeah, they were getting ready to file for bankruptcy. Who do they turn to? Thank you for attending uncles. No, well, I'm sorry. Thank you for attending nephews TED Talk. I hope this message finds you well. I hope you have a great day over there in the southern region of the motherland. And hopefully, you learned a little thing or two. Because without the black dollar here in the States, you're nothing. Why do you think that all these popular white artists turned to hip hop for a second? Come on now. Y'all need us. We don't need y'all.
Welcome back to Peapod Cove Life. Y'all need us. We don't need you. That's a very powerful statement. Today, we unpack a nonchalant, global conversation sparked by South African singer Tyla when she describes herself as colored after coming to the U.S. And it's been a cultural collision that followed after, and what does that word mean in South Africa versus America? And that's what he got into. She had a perfect opportunity to explain that on the Breakfast Club, and she chose not to. Why are some Africans puzzled that their South African government still uses this word to describe a racial category? And we're going to get into more clips coming up. Welcome back to the channel. I appreciate y'all coming through. Like the video, help get it out to more people.
Hey, South Africans, since y'all keep acting like you don't know what we're talking about. So, is colored a tribe in South Africa that we didn't know about? Is it a tribe? Is it a tribe? Does it have roots in South Africa? Stop it. It's embarrassing.
It sparked a world conversation, and everybody has something to say, whether you like it or not. I'm just hoping that we get people to actually start listening. And if you're out there listening, I appreciate you. You're here and you want to be a part of solving an issue. This is something that could really change things if the conversation steers in the right way. Because from what I'm hearing in a lot of these clips that I'm looking at, these South Africans don't want to be called colored either. They see it as being offensive as well. So the fact that she doubled down on that, I'm not sure what that was. Maybe she got afraid, she got scared, to really say who she was because she thought that we wouldn't accept her in this country. Listen, girl, our president is a felon. All right. I live in Connecticut, and there's a town called Bridgeport where the guy in charge of that town went to prison for literally crimes that he committed in office. He got back out of prison and they voted him back in because he was best dude for the city. And hey, you honest, and honesty will be good. That's what we want, honesty.
What is a colored? Because I can't see myself as a colored. Because that identity was forced onto me.
If you have a identity crisis, what do? You don't know who you are. Now the problem that we have in our area is our people don't know who they are. And history has been distorted. So much so that even the colored believe he's a colored. Even though this identity was forced upon us. First by the colonialists, then the nationalist government, and now the democratic dispensation.
Hopefully we can learn from all of this. And of course, you're going to get some things that come out because we live in all sorts of the world, right? There are Black people all over the world. Some people will like this conversation, we're talking about color, but in Black people in general. I came from Trinidad and Tobago to be exact. And my experience growing up there, I came to the United States when I was 9, 10 years old. My experience there from my experience here around Black people is totally different. And I've visited other Black places throughout the world, St. Thomas, St. Martin, Mexico, to name a few. And Black people are different everywhere we go. So the fact that it's so different over there with certain things let you know, you could look at it a couple different ways. Even either they haven't advanced to where Black Americans are, because it seems like maybe Black Americans, when it comes to racial things going on in the country, there was more progress done here in America than it was done in South Africa. Because even if you leave South Africa and you go into other African countries, they don't call themselves colored. You know what I'm saying? They call themselves Black or they Africans, so this is a conversation we all need to have. We all need to be educated from the other side. We all need to hear your point of view. I want to hear what your point of view is. You're going to probably hear some of mine, but I'm here just to bring it because if I pick and choose sides, I'm going to get it from either way. I'm a Black person, and even in the Caribbean, I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, like I just said. Call me a colored. We're going to have an issue. We don't like that word over there either. That word to us means the same thing as Americans. It was used to degrade us. And like I said, most South Africans don't want that word to be used. They don't like it. So the fact that some of these people out here defending what they know they don't want anyway, unless they accept that because they see themselves better than Black people within itself. And that's the whole thing. If you feel like you're better than Black people, you're more likely to say, oh, I'm colored, right? But if you look at it like, we're all one, I don't care, we're Black, then you see it a little different. This right here is something that I'm hearing for the first time. If you've heard about this right here, the pencil rule, let me know that in the comments about it.
As I was reading through comments, right, I heard somebody mention the pencil test. And I was like, what's the pencil test? I'd never heard of pencil test. The only thing I'd ever heard of was the paper bag test, the brown paper bag test, right? because I'm from the United States of America. I'm Black American. I never heard of the pencil test before, right? So I decided to look it up. Well, this was used in South Africa, right? And it's where you stick a pencil in someone's hair to determine whether they are white, whether they will be classified as white, colored, or black. In many instances, families were separated, made to forced to live in different areas.
Do y'all hear that? Families were separated just on a pencil, like literally. Just imagine, because only a black woman can have a baby, and the baby come out with different skin tones. Now we know race obviously was in there. That's why they got the whole color things. But just imagine one day you wake up and you had a lighter sister or brother, and they just came and took them because they were lighter. Not because they're in the same family and they belong, but they just took them because they looked a little different. The pencil didn't stick.
Areas because of how the results of the pencil test came out.
That's crazy.
So you would take a pencil, and I guess you would stick it in your head, right?
Let me try.
If it immediately falls out, you're white. So you go.
Hold up, y'all. Let me get my I gotta. Shit, does a pen work or does it have to be a pencil? Okay, go ahead. Let me hear what she says.
Go live over there. If it doesn't fall out, I don't know how they do the colored one, I guess, but you shake your head, right? And if it falls out, you be classified as colored. So it's not as, it's in between white and black. But if it doesn't fall out at all, you're black and you go over there. So I guess
I gotta go over there, y'all. Sorry, mine didn't fall out. But this is insane. Like, I've heard of the paper bag test. If you have heard of this pencil test before, let me know down in the comments, because this is crazy. This is some insane things.
For the colored people, it will take a little bit. It'll be a little harder because the hair would be curlier. So it would come down, I guess, but it wouldn't fall all the way out. I'm not sure, but I guess it wouldn't be up in the hair like it would for someone classified as black. Yep. Okay. And so this is how they would classify people in South Africa. This was the real systemic classification system. Okay. Unlike the paper bag test, the brown paper bag test in America wasn't like government mandated. It wasn't government mandated, but it was social. And with the brown paper bag test, it was more like colorism, right? So when it comes to the United States and black Americans, they would put a brown paper bag sometimes on a door of a club or something like that if you wanted to join a club or something like that. And you could not join if you didn't pass that brown paper bag test. So I would not pass the brown paper bag test, okay?
Me either. I'm sorry. But listen, that's how things used to be. So just imagine how far we've come. But, we still have a lot of work to do. And that's why I'm bringing this stuff, because we all need to be aware of these things. We're living in different times now. And I think these times right now has been the most, this is when we probably could get it done, because we're so much diverse now than we've ever been. People are listening now. People are paying attention around the world. It's not just in one community, because these conversations going on around the world. Some of these videos are not from America or South Africa. People are listening and talking because you know what? There are Black people all over the world, all over the world. No matter what country you go to, there's Black people.
But my brother or my sister would. You see what I'm saying? Because Black people here come in all different shades, as they do in a lot of different places around the world, right? But they would reject certain people if they didn't have skin lighter than a brown paper bag. So basically, like your dad, like my dad is light, my mom is brown like me.
Yep.
So yeah, so these things really were happening back in the day, okay? I heard of the brown paper bag test, but never the pencil test. So it was based off the texture of your hair. in South Africa. It was based off the texture of your hair. So basically, if
So in America, it was based off your skin color. Over there, it was based off the texture of your hair. Because, I mean, wow. Hey.
the texture of your hair was looser or of looser curl, you could definitely look like me, but be classified as colored, from what I'm understanding, because the hair is just looser in its natural state. And over in America, socially, with the brown paper bag test, there was even a man. I'm gonna play it right now. There's a song way back in the day. His name was Big Bill Brunzi. I believe that's how you pronounce his last name, Big Bill Brunzi. And he talked about it in his song. The song was called, I'm going to put it up, I might say it wrong, Black, Brown, and White, or something like that, right? And he was saying that if you're white, when you go to apply for a job or something, they would look at it as if you're white, you're right. If you're brown, I'll let you listen to it.
This little song that I'm singing.
Now, I'm going to pause it a little bit just in case of copyright, so we can hear at least some of the song in the video.
About people you know is true. If you black and gotta work for a living now, this is what they would say to you. It says, if you was white, you're alright. If you was brown, stick around. But as you black, oh brother, get back, get back, get back.
Basically, if you were black, they want you to get back, get back, get back. So many ways that socially is done today around the world, okay? Even in music, even in acting, many times. In every industry, it's like that, because
the colored population is a product of colonialism. It is a product of the interracial, and you know, it's a very painful history of the colored community, because it is, we are a result of.
The one thing about this interview that I'm listening to now is that she's like afraid, she's tippy-toeing around the things, you know, she's bringing it from a higher level, but explain what that means. And what she basically saying is they took advantage of our grandmothers, and colonialism is basically a bunch of mixed race people that came out of when they came in and ramaged through our grandparents, our great grandparents, and had these kids, and they didn't know what to do with them. This is kind of what this conversation is. So let's get it.
Of colonialism, we are a result of murder, we are a result of rape. That's the colored community. Now, does that apply to all colored? Obviously not, you know, because not all our grandmothers involuntarily slept with, you know, but we do know that majority of them was. We know that a lot of the colonizers that came into Africa did that to our grandmothers, right? True. I remember I watched this guy was on the news, and he was Khoisan, right? And he spoke about the Khoisan people, and he was very focused on the fact that they do not want to be classified as colored. And I think that's why there's always an argument about the colored. And he was like, because we were never colored. You gave us that classification because they are not colored, but they are classified colored because they look a specific way, right? And he spoke about that, but then he said, what you guys don't know about the Khoisan is that the Khoisan fought the colonizers first because they were at the tip of the Cape of Good Hope. True. So they encountered the Khoisan people first, which means that they were the ones, like you look at the story of Krotoa. I don't know if you know the story of Krotoa, you know? It tells you the story of how there was an integration, how they got here, etc. And obviously, because of over generations, there has been, what do you call it, when people just continuously populate?
Before you know what is going on, you're like, okay,
here we are. Exactly. And now here we are. So when they say that the colored community is generations of interracial people, which is true, because they were separated initially to create the colored community.
I see.
And then amongst themselves, they were able to procreate.
To procreate and populate.
Exactly. So that is why the colored community of South Africa have the most diverse genetic makeup in the world. Did you know that?
Serious?
Yes.
Wow.
the most.
Man, we're getting some education here. So basically, the colored people lived amongst themselves once they were separated. They didn't revert to one specific. So they basically, that's kind of what they're saying right here, which is crazy. But I mean, I'm sure there was always exceptions here or there. Love is love. But generally, this is kind of what was happening. And that's all because of the government and what they did to people. You know, they separated people here. And it's crazy. You go to the two different places and you look at the separations and what they were, and it's crazy. But I keep telling people, like, a lot of people is shocked by certain things. But remember, we were sold by our own people. That's how this whole thing got started. Remember that. So we ain't all angels and saints as we think. And people on the other side, y'all bought us. So y'all just as bad. One of us sold it, y'all met, but whatever. And, you know, so leave me your comments down there too. Let me know how y'all feel about this. But I love the way that they're finally explaining a lot of this. And they all see the history of why some of this stuff needs to be changed. And this conversation could change a lot of things because they aren't happy with the word over there either. They're not.
Most diverse genetic makeup in the world. The colored racial classification is not a race. It's not a race. It was a classification. There's no DNA for the colored person.
Yeah.
There's no DNA.
I hear you.
It was a group of white supremacists who sat around the table and said, how do we ensure...
White who? Did she say white supremacists? I think that's what she said. We know what that means here in the United States of America. They don't want anything to do with, if you're not pure or that, they don't want you in their room.
Group of white
El Presidente? Nah, I'm not going to say. I'm not going to do it.
Supremacists who sat around the table and said, how do we ensure that we keep South Africans divided?
Yeah.
You know, so how about we have this specific group that is of mixed descent, which we've created, mind you, and make them feel a specific way, right? Because why would they add to an already majority black population?
I hear you.
Because they were the minority.
I hear you.
So if they take the colored population and they added them as black in America, because remember, in America, the one-drop rule worked. They needed more slaves. In South Africa, they did not need more black people.
Very true.
So if they added to that, it would have been to the...
Did y'all get that? That is a perfect way of explaining it on both sides. On both sides. In America, they needed more slaves, so once you had the one drop, you got in the field. Over there, it was the other way, so they had to change it to fit them out. That's a kind of a good explanation of the whole South Africa, America, colored, black Americans. And it's sparked a real conversation, and I'm hoping that people start really listening. It seemed like most of the African people around the world don't want to be called colored. It's just that they're thrown into that category by the government, and it's the government separating the people.
I'm tired of y'all. How does she act like she's better? How does her calling herself colored make you think she's trying to be superior? We're truly our worst enemies. First of all, I'm not your worst enemy. I'm not a South African woman. I'm not your worst enemy. Second of all, being colored in South Africa quite literally means that you think that you're better than the black South Africans. You have more privileges. You're held to a higher standard in society. You're put on a different type of pedestal when you're considered colored and not just a monoracial black South African person. Let's not act like we're dumb. We know what's going on. We understand that there's a caste system. You're not black. You ain't white. You somewhere in the middle. Being colored gives you a different standing in society in South Africa. Why do y'all think that we're so dumb that we don't know what's going on over there? We have colorism here in America as well, but it's not as blatant as it is over there. Y'all just got out of apartheid like in the 1994. So you all are like very, very in an infantile stage when it comes to having any type of equality, especially amongst each other. We had something called the paper bag test, but those things were happening in the 60s, the 50s, the 60s. Like, we don't, it's not, colorism and all that is not like so in our face the way that it used to be.
But like I said, this is new to y'all, and y'all still pedestalize white people. So the coloreds are above you and superior to you in South Africa. That's quite frankly what it is. They get treated better. They get a privilege for being considered colored. Let's not act like we don't know. So Tyla bringing those same sentiments to America, it didn't work for her. It didn't work for her because we don't worship the coloreds and the biracials and that's not what's happening in 2025 in the United States of America. Hopefully this helps. And then also her attitude and her personality. The way she acts is like, stush, uppity, like it's her whole persona. It's not just because she's considered colored. She ain't that likable. It just is what it is.
So what can we take away? Tyla's story is a powerful reminder that identity is deeply rooted in history and culture. What was affirming in one place is jarring in another. The word colored still exists in South Africa as a meaningful describer of show side. Next time you encounter a word that makes you pause, reminder, context matter. Thanks for tuning in to Peapod Cove Live. Until next time, keep listening, keep learning, and keep the conversation flowing. I'm going to see y'all. Y'all have a good day. Keep the conversation going. I want to hear all the comments. Like the video, get this video out to more people. Keep the conversation going.